Mabuhay mga kakampi, ako ang inyong kakampi na si Puting Pinoy. Apir tayo. At ngayon, maraming salamat sa pagsali sa pagsali nyo dito sa live stream. Huwag kalimutan na sampalin ang like at sampalin ang subscribe tsaka kampana. Ngayon ang tatalakay natin ay yan. Ngayon ang tatalakay natin ay itong video na ito na saglit lang, i-add ko muna sa stream. Share screen. Okay. Itong video na ito na ito add ko. Yon, ito. Bam. Na high school debate na kasama si Filipino Youth na si Raul Contreras noong 1958. So, or 1956 pala. Kagabi, pinanood natin yung video ni, yung isa pang video na isang archive video galing sa 1958 at pinag-usapan nilang racism doon. So, maganda itong topic. Magandang talakayin natin ngayon. So, let's see mga kikampi. Let's go ahead and just discuss siguro. I think karamihan sa mga nanonood ngayon ay nakakilala kay Raul Contreras. Kasi na-viral siya recently dahil sa mga eloquent words, mga magagandang salita niya pagdating sa prejudice. Pero gusto ko ngayon, by the way, is everything okay? Maganda ba yung audio quality dito mga kakampi? So ang gusto kong talakayin natin ngayon ay isa prejudice, pero pinag-usapan natin yan kahapon or kagabi. Kung gusto nyong panoorin ng video na yun, siguro isasama ko ang isang link sa susunod. Pero pwede naman ninyong i-playback. So siyempre pag-uusapan din natin yung prejudice ng konti, pero may mas gusto akong talakayin ngayon batay sa mga nakita kong articles. So ako, hindi pa ako nakapanood ng video na ito kay Raul. Hindi ko pa narinig ang mga punto niya. Pero nakita ko naman na mga articles tungkol sa kanya, tsaka mga comments ng mga iba pang kakampi. By the way, sa lahat ng mga kakampi na sumasali ngayon at nagpapa-shoutout, maraming salamat talaga sa pakasali dito. At siguro mamaya sa pinakadulo ng video natin ay gagawa ko ng mga shoutouts at makakaroon tayo ng Q&A, ganoon. Pero sa ngayon, I think papanoorin natin ang video na ito habang dumadami tayo. By the way, isa pang beses, kung hindi nyo pa nagawa, sampalin ninyo ang like sa video na ito. At kung gagawin nyo yan, baka makikita nyo yung mga pusa ko mamaya. Okay. Let's go ahead and jump right into it, mga kakampi. Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. Nakalimutan ko ang gusto kong sabihin. So, ngayon, gusto ko talagang i-focus yung smart shaming na nangyayari ayon sa mga ibang comments dito, at pag-uusapan din natin ang mga ibang logical fallacies. So, ito na mga kakampi. Simulan na natin with the video. Alrighty. Wow, galing. Raul Contreras. Sobrang suave siya. Oh. Oh, wait. Sabi niyo dito na, so hindi niyo narinig yung yung audio? Saglit lang. Walang audio. Okay, saglit lang mga kakampi. Narinig niyo pa rin ako? Hello. Hindi ko alam kung bakit nakaroon ng problema. Hello. Oh, alam ko kung bakit. Okay, my bad mga kakampi. I need to share audio. Okay, we're gonna cancel out of this, remove. Pasensya mga kakampi, medyo bago ako sa ganitong setup. Tulad ng sinabi ko kahapon, dahil sa stimulus check na ibinibigay sa lahat ng mga Americans, I was able to buy this. Nakabili ako ng mga bagong gamit. So, tingnan natin to. Let's share it again. I think it's because nakalimutan kong pindutin yung... Oh, wait. Ano ba yan? Share screen. Okay, ito. Sorry about that. Share audio yun. Kailangan kong pindutin yung share audio. Okay, subukan natin ulit mga kakampi. Okay na yan? Okay na ba mga kakampi?
From Japan, Yoriko Konishi, whose lovely voice you've just heard. From time to time, we like you to get a sense of what we do in all those times when we aren't having serious discussions. We very often get Yoriko to dance or sing for us. She does both. From the United Kingdom, 18-year-old Judith Reeder. Judith's got a bit of a cold today. It did not come from swimming in the Atlantic Ocean, although she assures us that when she's in England, she does swim in the ocean during the winter. From the Philippines, Raul Contreras. Raul will be 16 years old, patriotically enough, on the 4th of July. He may admit some prejudices, but one he obviously doesn't have is a prejudice against women, or he wouldn't have been willing to appear tonight with three women being the only male on the program. Now, on this question of prejudice, perhaps we ought to start out.
Oh yeah, nag-comment ako kanina. Gusto ko yung yung pakaswabe niya. Like yung reactions niya, medyo nahiya, pero yeah.
By trying to define what you think prejudices are. What do you think prejudice is, Ratnati?
Okay.
I think prejudice is a feeling of hate of people as a group or individual toward other people.
You say a feeling of hate. Do you think prejudice is as strong as hate?
Yes. When there is somebody, if he has a prejudice, then the answer will be, I hate such and such.
Well, I suppose that is true. What do you think prejudice is, Eureka?
Well, I have found that if somebody distinguish between two white men, it is not prejudice. But if somebody distinguish between a white man and a colored man, it is prejudice.
I would define prejudice as a rigid opinion formed about a certain thing before there has been a just examination of the facts.
There we go.
When a person loses track of the dignity of the human soul and begins to judge others not on the basis of their being persons, but on the basis of race, creed, economic status, that is prejudice.
Yan.
Well, is it fair to ask you whether you have...
Ayos, maganda yan. I love, gusto ko din yung sinabi ni UK girl. Sabi niya na pag hindi mo pa kilala ang isang tao, tapos may sinasabi ka tungkol sa kanila na akala mo, parang may hasty generalizations ka tungkol sa tao dahil lang sa kulay ng balat nila or dahil sa lahi nila. So magandang definition din niya. Tapos siyempre si Raul, our man Raul, ang talino talaga ng sagot niya. Para ba siyang napakatalino talaga.
Well, I guess so, Mrs. Waller. And being brutally frank, I'm prejudiced against Japanese. Well, not to the extent that I hate them. No, not that way. But I got this, well, as a result of World War II.
Gusto ko na umamin siya na may prejudice siya. And I think napakaganda din na nakatabi silang dalawa. Kasi I think it's important. Yan ang isang important na bagay para harapin at hamunin yung mga idea natin ay makakilala natin yung mga tao or kilalanin muna natin, alamin muna natin yung mga pagkatao ng bawat lahi, lalong-lalo kung mayroon tayong prejudice laban sa kanila.
Because, well, I guess I was yet too young to understand what happened during those times. But I think that what my relatives and friends and the people who were witness to that unfaithful occasion, well, they just more than justify the fact. And I
Hey, traveling Clat, thank you so much.
Because, well, I know that my people suffered very much under that rule.
You still as prejudiced against the Japanese as you were?
Well, 5 years ago, that prejudice of mine was, well, slightly fading away. But when Japan stubbornly refused to pay reparations to us, well, the prejudice began to brew again. But now I found out from close contact with Yuriko and other Japanese that Japan isn't ready to pay reparations yet. Because as Yuriko said, some of them and most of them even have to suffer the cold in the classrooms because they can't afford to heat the school.
Wow. So I love, I'm going to speak English for a bit because we do have some English speakers here. Thank you so much for the 500 pesos, Tal. That's very, very kind of you. By the way, sobrang gusto ko yung sinasabi niya, you know, so unang-una, sinabi niya na parang minanan niya yung prejudice niya. So dahil sa mga sinabi ng mga siguro tatay niya, nanay niya, mga mas matanda sa kanya, kaya siya napaisip na ganito ang mga Japanese. Kaya ayoko sa kanila. That's how often ganyan talaga. That's how prejudice happens in the first place, is you get people who have a very specific idea or prejudice against somebody or something, and then ituturo nila, they'll teach it to somebody else. So prejudice is a learned thing. I also like na ina-acknowledge niya yung mga kahirapan din ni Yuriko bilang isang Hapon, that he understands that she has also gone through things and that he's listening to what she's saying instead of stubbornly sticking to the idea or his preconceived notions of how things are. I mean, reparations, hindi ko alam na nabayad ba yung mga reparations ng Japan noon. I don't know if they did or not, but this is another point that I made yesterday, is makaiba yung mga tao sa isang bansa or sa isang lahi sa government. Diba? Makaiba talaga yung government. That's something that's super important to remember para maiwasan natin yung prejudice. By the way, mga Kakampi, I love your questions. I'll answer them, you know, a little bit later after this is all done. For now, let's keep on topic and subject of the content we're watching. And then mamaya sasagutin ko ang mga tanong nyo.
Yuriko, you've got any prejudices?
Well, I don't have any prejudice for Philippines, but many Japanese people hate Korea because the president of Korea made the line, his own line, on the public sea between Korea and Japan. And if the Japanese fishermen go over the line, they are caught.
Okay, that's good to know,
and
Kakampi.
they can't
Salamat.
go home for a while.
Tuloy-tuloy yung official
And we are
development
trying to
assistance nila.
be friends,
Nice.
For Korea.
Now that we've started, we better go on around the circle. Judith, you got any prejudices that you admit?
Yes, I suppose I'd better admit them, although I'm English. I have some very foolish prejudices. You'll probably laugh. For instance, as soon as I meet a person with red hair, I always put myself on my guard because I have a silly prejudice that all red-headed people have terrible tempers, you know, that they're as passionate
Oh,
as the
yeah,
color of their
that
hair.
is a common one.
Then I have another silly
Redhead
prejudice
people
that,
are angry.
for
Ganyan
example,
yung
when I
isang
first met the
stereotype.
Australian delegate, Elizabeth Woodgate, who hasn't been on television, I was shocked by her accent because to me it sounds just like a Cockney accent would in England. And I hope I'm not conceited or anything, but a Cockney accent in England, you know, most English people would shudder a little bit when they hear it.
Yeah.
But she very frankly told me that she shuddered when she heard my accent.
It's the same thing. Ganun din sa US. Like for people who have a southern accent, typically they get prejudiced against. Mayroon kaya dito sa Pilipinas yung prejudice na nangyayari dahil sa accent? I think there is, diba? Like, narinig ko sa mga kaibigan ko na taga Cebu or Bisaya na kung minsan na-discriminate sila dahil sa pagkabikas nila ng mga Tagalog words. So I think that's a pretty universal thing. Regionalism and all that happens in a lot of places. A lot of prejudice dahil sa pananalita. Kahit ako, grabe kang kuya ko. Pasensya mga kakampi sa pagbikas ko kung minsan.
I got paid back for that too.
Why did she say she did?
Oh, I think she imagined that she said she really had to forget my accent in order to like me. It was too formal. I gather most
Wow.
Americans think about that about the English as well. So.
Ratnari, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, tama.
sometimes I
Yung mga
feel
Tagalog yung
prejudice
Bisaya.
against the Dutch people when in school when I learned the history and learned how the Dutch people treated Indonesian. And I have some other prejudices of my own. That's I hate people who are proud and who feel that he is the master of the other people
Oh, yeah.
and who thinks that he knows everything than anybody else.
Well, that sounds
That's
super,
correct.
super reasonable. You know, like, ayaw niya sa mga tao na sobrang yabang or kahit yung mga colonizers, like yung mga colonizers, ayaw na ayaw niya sa mga colonizers. I think that's reasonable. That's very rational. I don't even think that's prejudice because, see, that's a very specific thing that you don't like. It's a specific characteristic, and that's okay to not like that. I mean, it's completely justified.
You a minute, Ralph. Are there any prejudices in the Philippines between groups of people?
Yes,
Oh,
there
yeah.
are existing prejudices between groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
As a matter of fact, most of us still, are prejudiced against a group of hybrids, those who have more Spanish blood than Filipino blood in them, and we
Gotcha.
term them
Salamat,
as
Kakampi.
mestizos. Well, these incidents usually occur in the school. As you know, I'm in a school run by Spanish monks, and we have a lot of we have a lot of those of that group studying in our school, and usually they are favored. But we think, and we think that we are right in saying that they are sort of aristocratic, conceited, and
Oh, like
high-headed
modern
and
day
sword-headed
conyo.
and all sorts of adjectives, and they have the foolish idea that they have the royal blood or royalty in them.
Well, how do you get along with these boys in school, Ralph? Are any problems?
Saglit lang. Mismo, minsan ginagawang panunukso ang Bisaya as equal to Baduy. Ang Baduy mo naman mukha kang Bisaya. Oh, wow, that's not very nice. It's unfortunate. Sana ma-address natin, no?
Well, frankly speaking, I don't get along with them pretty well. As a matter of fact,
Oh,
we usually
ads
fight
coming up.
with one another.
Di dapat
Alrighty.
mahal ang magmahal. Kaya wag mahi
Right, MD. Di dapat.
Is there any problem? Yes, Eureka.
Yes, Japan have had many American or European soldiers after the war, and most of them married with the Japanese girls.
Let's see here. Standard of beauty there. Mestizas are beautiful, but not the darker skinned. Oh yeah, isa din issue din yan. Wow, maraming iba't iba tayong matatalakay, no, mga kakampi, pagdating sa prejudice issue na ito. And, you know, mga kakampi, please, pagkatapos ng video na ito, iwan nyo ang mga comments nyo, sabihin nyo kung anong gusto nyong mga prejudices na talakayin natin sa susunod na mga videos.
Not only formal wedding, and they made children who called hybrid, and I think the hybrid have nothing to be punished.
Yeah.
But some grown-ups didn't used to treat as the Japanese children, and grown-ups also used to treat the mothers of children. No. Japanese people thought that the mothers of hybrids are not good; they are horrible because they married with foreign people. And many Japanese people don't like to marry with foreign people because they live in different customs, and they consider with a different way.
You still have a strong, may I say, prejudice in Japan against marrying people from other countries, don't you?
Well, yes.
Eureka, could you tell us something about the status of women in Japan? We hear the strangest things, and you've been telling me the strangest things. Could you tell us more about it?
Before the war?
Yes, and now.
Well, up to about 60 years ago, Japanese people thought that white people are horrible because they are almost red hairs, and
they all have
everything is
red
so
hair.
big
Salamat.
about bodies. And quite a few people still think so. And in Japan, we think that something to be beautiful must be small and delicate.
You can hardly
Different
apart very
aesthetics. That's the kawaii culture. Actually, mayroon akong tita na Japanese. Aunt Shoko.
Shoko?
Yeah.
Not Shoko.
Ganyan yung pagkabikas namin.
Shoko?
Shoko. Yeah, Shoko.
Your show?
Yep.
Wow.
Alrighty. Pagpatuloy natin. That's interesting. Yung xenophobia na yun. Don't like marrying people. I mean, I guess that makes sense. That's a very collectivist idea, right? Is like, oh, we got to protect our little part of the world, you know. Don't intermingle with other people in the world.
Tsaka preservation din ng...
Yeah, preservation ng culture and stuff too, which is fine. Like to a certain degree, that's definitely fine and justified. Which, you know, para sa akin, di ba, Puting Pinoy yung tawag sa channel ko. I believe that a person who goes to a country should be the one integrating to that country and not the other way around. Sometimes I think may mga tao, and we could talk about this sa ibang pakikitaon, which I think sometimes people, they come to, for instance, the Philippines, and then papunta lang sila sa Makati, and then makikinig lang sila sa mga Western music sa lahat ng mga bars. Like everything is catered to Westerners instead of the Westerners making an effort to actually learn about the Philippines. You know, sa pananaw ko lang, I feel it's a little, there's something wrong with that picture.
some of the big soldiers we sent to Japan, could you? But I never knew that you looked down on us because we were big. That's very interesting.
We're always proud of if the Western men are tall and handsome. We consider that as
You may very well be, Kakampi. You may be as smart.
What you said about skin color, Eureka, I've heard that the Chinese speak about us as pink people instead of white people. It's so much more difficult to be proud of being a pink person, isn't it?
Oh, yes, you're a pink person.
Might as well face it, Judith. Here we are.
I have really pink skin. My blood just goes.
Yes?
Judith, since Philippines has so many colonies and well, let's say, nearly in all over the world. How do you feel towards the people in the, in the colony? Do
You
you
mean
have
in-
some prejudice?
No, I personally don't have any prejudice. At least I hope I don't. But I know that a lot of Europeans think of the Asians, for example, as rather lazy. I don't mean to be rude, but that used to be the impression we had. You know, when we started our colonization, we thought we were doing good to you. I know that you
Oh,
dislike the people in
yeah.
Indonesia, you dislike the Dutch there, but they probably thought they were helping you.
Oh, that's
We
so
were not helping
bad.
us.
That's so bad. That's
You
so
mentioned that we are
unaware.
lazy. Well, we are not certain exactly lazy, but they didn't give us a chance, and we didn't get experiments
Good job,
to
Kakampi.
build our country.
That's awesome.
Well, Judy, I don't
Mabuhay
think
sa
all Asians are
Switzerland.
lazy.
No, please, you're misunderstanding me. I said that was a general opinion. Maybe not now. I hope certainly
Or
not.
general opinion, but well, when it's not, it's well, sort of wrong to say that they are lazy. Let's
agree
just say that they've got a very flat feet that they can't lift them up. Because you've got to consider, for example, the climate in most of
Witty.
the regions in Asia. Well, it's just but natural. You can't just work with all the warm climate around you.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, you'd always feel like fanning yourself.
Sobrang nanghihina ako dito sa Pilipinas palagi. Kung lumabas ako, tapos nabutan ako ng init, like agad-agad na nawala yung energy ko. I feel like the whole entire day I gotta sleep, which is why sobrang bilib ako sa lahat ng mga construction workers and mga farmers, you know, yung mga nagtatanim ng ano ba?
Palay.
Palay, yeah. Because, man, sobrang nahihirapan ako kung nasa labas. Kahit magbabasketball ako, kahit sobrang saya yung activity, like basketball, mahihirapan talaga ako. And I've been doing some biking lately, but yeah, you know, it's like, whew.
Or going to an air-conditioned theater or something else that where it's cold.
Is there not only this difference of climate that explains a difference in tempo, but is there a difference in philosophy too that perhaps we in the West haven't appreciated?
Tatalakayin natin ito mamaya,
Well, as
Kakampi.
far as I know it, and well, I think you've mentioned it in this program that Indians think that they should never soil their hands. And in the Philippines, I must admit that, well, we're sort of inclined to get white-collar jobs and swivel chairs. Most of us do, especially the new college graduates. We don't want to work with our hands. We want to have, well, big bosses and with pretty secretaries around
Yep.
us. That's the common tendency.
Yeah.
Could you give a proof that we are lazy?
Oh gosh, now you put me in a corner. I was trying to give you an example. You criticize the countries which do, you criticize the Dutch, for example. But I know the British, when they started doing their colonization, they tried to help the countries they were in. But
Oh
think
my
that they were
gosh,
getting in
girl,
taking
you
away
are so brainwashed.
Well, yes,
Okay, so ito ang isang dahilan kung bakit ayaw ko sa nationalism. Sobrang daming pwedeng pag-usapan pagdating sa paksang ito because she's been taught her entire life that it was somehow justified and beautiful. And a lot of it had to do with Christianity, with religion, you know, the spread of religion. But kung tutuusin, it was actually all just about gaining resources and forcing the world to be great or whatever. Like it's like gaano kaya bang kailangan ng pag-iisip mo para isipin na dahil taga-ibang lugar, hindi sila civilized, hindi sila marunong sa mga bagay-bagay. Like that in itself is very problematic.
Parang yung Chinese, yung Malay girl sa video kahapon.
Uh-huh.
Di ba sinasabi niya na mas daw sila civilized daw.
Oh,
sila
yeah.
in Chinese ethnicity niya.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting discussion.
I think so. I'll give an example about the Dutch that we didn't get a chance to be educated, for example.
That was when the Dutch were there.
Yeah. And do you think if the people in the colony get a chance to get free, you will get them? Do you think?
Oh, now we're going right off the subject.
Yeah. See, my friend from Malaya is very glad that Malaya will get the independence next year. She's very proud, and she tells everybody.
Yes,
we-
uniqueness and
she tells
superiority
everybody
of the
that
Eastern
Malaya is
race.
going to be
Tama,
independent,
Kakampi.
next year. Do you think that if you do that to the other places, then you
Yes, we
will make them satisfied?
Well, we hope it will make them satisfied. Every country wants to be independent. That's only natural. But there comes a point somebody to decide whether they're ready to receive their independence. But I know we could go off on another long argument about that.
Oh my
Maybe we could have
gosh!
Antira.
Well, I was about to ask them, what do they think are the most common?
Wow. UK girl. Oh, marami kang matututunan. This is like this is what's called in America white privilege and things like that, is this sort of cultural insensitivity and just unawareness kung ano bang nangyayari sa mga ibang dako ng mundo, ibang sulok ng mundo. And yeah, it's bad. Nakakahiya nga. Like marami nga ako, like ako, nung lumaki ako, like marami akong iba't ibang natiran ng mga iba't ibang lugar. Maraming iba't ibang lahi. Pero kahit ganun, may mga paniniwala or may mga natututunan ka bilang puti na hindi mo namalayan ay may paka-racism sa loob ng ganyan pag-iisip. Like there's some idea of like superiority or mas mataas ka. And it's not, hindi naman sa like masama, like sa pagiging masungit or whatever, but like there's this like natural belief that gets put into people's minds and then they don't even examine it. Like, so, diba, sinasabi niya that it's like people just naturally, like, gusto lang nilang pagbutihin ang kalagayan ng ibang tao, ng mga ibang bansa. It's sad kasi maraming iba't ibang bagay na inaakala natin hindi racist or hindi prejudiced. Pero kung tanungin mo lang yung tao on the receiving end, ano ba ang pakiramdam nila? Prejudice nga ba? Racist nga ba? Because it's more about what the other person thinks and feels, not what the aggressor or the perpetrator of an act says or thinks, diba? Like you can't tie up somebody's hands and be like, no, you like this. This is good for you. Like, kinakailangan mong isa-isip kung anong nararamdaman ng tao mismo na nakatali. Right? Something like that.
Common or basic causes of our prejudices? Is it mainly skin color?
Well, maybe.
Do you mean
Pag-uusapan natin ito
example,
mamaya,
taking the
Kakampi.
People in the South?
I guess
Populating in-
taking the American side of it, it's just that the white people don't want to mix themselves up with the colored ones.
What about the colored people? Perhaps they don't want to mix with the white people either.
What about?
By
since
the
you
way,
brought up
mga
the American
Kakampi,
race problem,
actually, really quick, white people don't want to mix with colored people. May nakita akong comment dito, and somebody said, let me find it really quick. Hanapin natin. Says, where was it? May nakita akong comment kanina. Oh no, it was in a different window. But may nagsabi na, oh wow, kahit yung kahit yung salitang colored people, like wow, progressive siya. Actually, kung tutuusin, colored people is actually hindi talaga magandang pakinggan. It should always be people of color and not. So it should be people of color, not not colored people.
Bakit?
Dahil, saglit lang, good question. I'll answer that really quick. Stop screen share. Saglit lang mga kakampi. I'm going to bring up the reason why hindi tama yung kung bakit hindi tama yung colored people. Okay, ito. So, ganito. Tingnan nyo lang ito. Ito na lang ang tingnan nyo. Ito. Napansin nyo, colored ang sign dito. Is this showing already? Oh, it's not. Okay, here we go. So here it is. Kung tingnan nyo lang, itong sign na ito, it says colored on it. I'm going to even make this full screen. There we go. So it says colored on it. So it was a term that was used by racist white people growing up. I mean, in the history of America. And they had segregation. Pinilit yung mga ibang tao, like yung mga itim, yung Black Americans, they were forced to go into these areas that said colored. And that was divided into bathrooms. That was divided into water fountains, as you see right here. Sa bus, kinakailangan may colored section na tinatawag, colored. And then, you know, mga bagay na ganyan. So that term actually comes from a racist history, which is why people would say people of color, not colored people. Tingnan natin kung bakit okay lang yung people of color. Let's see here. Looking through. Now in 2020, people of color is often used to refer to the collective group of non-white Americans. It is offensive to single blacks out as colored. That is, in part, is because of the painful segregationist history. So yeah, so naipaliwanag ko na yan. Let's go to, where is it? So it sounds like it's a thing of solidarity and a thing of, let's see here. A thing of allowing people to, where is this? The problem is that many white people aren't willing to work that hard. Let's see here. Wala naman paliwanag kung bakit mas maganda yung people of color. I think that's just okay. Not long ago, I would have eagerly taken the time to explain that the NAACP, which was established in 1909, was founded during a time when colored was acceptable. The group has since broadened its mission to not only include African Americans. Okay, so that's one reason, it sounds like. But also it's because of the racist history. So there we go. Yan ang dahilan, mga kakampi. The more you know. Alrighty. Hello, welcome back, Kakamping Lumi. Let's see here. Naalala ko yung movie The Help. Yeah, exactly. In that movie, mayroon naman mga examples kung saan nangyari yan. Like people who had to go and be in specific places. Back in like that's pretty recent history din kasi I think natapos yun nung mga 1960s, 1970s. Some places it was like, it continues to be a big issue. We all just have to overlook our differences because anyone can be racist. True. I don't know about overlooking differences. I think mas maganda nga kung tanggapin yung differences, alamin yung mga differences at tanggapin yung mga differences. Yeah, even some Filipinos can be racist with black people I've seen, heard, and experienced around me. Yep. We all have to show, yes, we all have to be Kakampi, no matter the race. Let love, empathy, and kindness, humbleness be our drive. Totoo, Kakampi. Hi, this is... By the way, mga Kakampi, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga comments and questions. Sa mga comments and questions na hindi related dito sa topic natin, mamaya ko i-address. So, kung gusto nyong pag-usapan natin sa mamaya, then that's great. I'd be happy to answer questions and discuss some other things at the end of the live stream. For now, let's go ahead. Itutuloy natin. Welcome sa channel, Kakamping Ray Astor. Alrighty, let's go here. Yeah, Jim Crow laws. That's exactly what those were, Kakampi. They were meant to segregate. Okay, here we go. So we'll open this one back up. Jim Crow laws. That's what they were. Kakampi. Alrighty, let us go here. Add to stream. And we're not gonna continue to make this. Exit. There we go. Okay, pagpatuloy natin.
I'd like to
By the
ask
way,
you,
mga Kakampi,
is
huwag
it
kalimutan na
as bad as you thought it
sampalin
was
ng
going to be
like.
before you came, or is it better or worse?
Well, I think it's what I've seen here and what
Hey,
I've
Kapa Brian.
heard while I am
Glad
here,
to see you here.
and, what I have read in the newspapers, it's just worse than I expected.
Don't you agree, Judith?
No, I don't agree. In England, we don't hear too much about the American problem, except, of course, when a certain case came up and the Supreme Court decision, we heard a lot about it then, but not too much. And when I came here, I had imagined from the Tiller case that things would be really terrible in the South. And I found that there's a real feeling of optimism here. I stayed in a Negro family, and I was able to see the position, really a bird's eye view of it, you might say. And the first
Even
thing
that
impressed
use,
me
that
was
term
that
is
the
not
Negroes
good.
themselves, were not happy about the situation, but were
She
pleased.
is
They
so
were grateful
unaware.
for what progress had been made, and they were sure that the situation would continue to improve. They
Is
said
that the 2 weeks you were in New Jersey that
yes,
you
that's
stayed in a
right,
Negro
when I
family?
was in the Negro family. I know that was in the northern part, and conditions are better there. And I was very impressed with that. They said it would be a slow process, but things were gradually improving. It was a matter of breaking down tradition, and I was very happy to find that.
No.
New Nestle fortified milk. Taste the milk your family deserves.
So,
I'd like to know some of your other experiences with, yes, Eureka.
I have never seen any evidences of rape.
wait, so that's an issue too, mga Kakampi. Sometimes people, kung minsan yung mga puti, narinig lang nila yung mga bagay na gusto nilang marinig. And I think sometimes people of color sa US will paint a brighter, more beautiful picture, because kung hindi, they'll receive persecution or awkwardness or whatever. So it's like pakikibagay para ma-survive. And it's really, really sad.
Racial prejudice in the United
I
States.
do think things are getting
I
better.
found out that most
But the fact that she said that back in 1950s where they had segregation, there's still such a long way to go.
Negroes are laborers, and they don't have a high position on business. But I was very glad.
Yeah, siguro
when
mataas
I
nga
saw
yung...
the Negro girl in
It could
South
be.
Orange.
By the way,
From
hindi
high school.
dapat gamitin yung term na yun.
Vice president of the student council.
I'm glad you did too. Yes, right now.
Here in New York and New Jersey, I don't see any racial segregation or something like that. But when
Yeah, New York
Williamsburg
didn't have like
I saw it's very
segregation.
different.
Like,
I mean, the Negro school go to the special Negro, and I was talking to some of the girls in the school, and I asked them how they feel about being segregated. But they said that they don't mind about that, and what they want is equal rights. And there are some places that they can go, such as restaurant or some clubs. And I
Mhm.
think that as since all Americans claim and emphasize that America is the most democratic country in the world,
Yeah.
and as far as long as segregation exists, I don't think it's a democratic.
Yeah, sangayon
Pure
ako
democracy.
sang-ayon ako sa
Adding
kanya.
something to that, isn't it that, well, in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag,
Yeah,
you mentioned something about I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the
to
republic
for which it stands, one nation
indivisible, under God,
yeah,
with liberty and
justice for all. Pero
Well, the
walang
last
justice
phrase
for
just
all.
doesn't suit everything.
Yeah.
I mean, with this segregation problem here and the discrimination against colored people, how in the
People
world
of
could you
color,
have
mga kakampi.
liberty and justice for all? And in one of my hospitality periods, I didn't expect that even the kids could carry it that far. I had the privilege, I should say, of attending one of the dances sponsored by one of the civic groups, and I just noticed that, well, it was a big dance floor, and all the white kids were assembled on the left side, and the most, well, shall we say, not strategic part of the ballroom, well, all the colored
Excuse me.
boys and girls were in there. And I
Mhm.
never saw
Yep.
a white boy asking a colored girl for a dance, nor did I see a colored boy asking a white girl for a dance.
Yeah, I really hate that. Ayaw na ayaw ko sa image, kahit sa image ng segregation. Like, naalala ko nung una ako nandito sa Pilipinas, I was a missionary, and there were other missionaries, like mayroon naman mga puti na mga missionaries. So, pero hindi naman ganyan kadami. Basta, pag may mga conferences kami, na marami kami, lagi ko pinili na makisalamuha sa mga Pinoy, kasi ayaw na ayaw ko sa mga ganyan situation. Ayaw na ayaw ko sa mga stereotypes at sa mga pagpapahiwalay or paghihiwalay ng mga lahi na nangyayari. It makes things worse. It makes things more stereotyped. It doesn't allow people to get to know people. It's annoying.
I had a nasty experience too. When I first arrived here, and I happened to mention to a group of young people that I was going to stay with a Negro family. One of the boys got up and walked out of the room, and I felt awful. I thought, well, we're in the north now, not in the south. And then when we did go into the south, I really came against it pretty hard. We went into this big store, and I was in the ladies' cloakroom, and I was washing my hands, and I was with a group of the eastern delegates, the rather darker-skinned ones like Ratnati. And I was standing a little apart from them, and this lady came up to me, and she pulled me to one side, obviously assuming that I was American, and she said, what are these Negroes doing in here?
Oh,
And
damn.
I was so cross, and I told her as calmly as I could that I was with them and who we were. And of course, her attitude immediately changed. But it gives you such a nasty shock when you come up against it face to face. You read about it in the newspapers, you hear about it, but you don't really realize the significance of it until it hits you in the face yourself.
I think the major cause of the prejudice is skin color, and I think I don't know why, but I think the white people think that colored people have dirty skin, and they don't have progressive culture, so the white people are the most great and wonderful person in the world. I think so.
On this matter of skin color, if you were here in the summer, you'd see lots of Americans on all the beaches trying to get brown.
Significant.
I wonder what that really means.
I think we white women have an inferiority complex. The Eastern women and the Negro women have a sort of reputation for being so beautiful.
I
And
guess
we're a little
you
jealous of them.
I guess you just envy us colored people.
I guess so.
Is there anything corresponding to
Raul.
that?
Well, I think so, Mrs. Waller, because in the Philippines, it's just funny there's a common tendency among women. Well, those who have a dark complexion, I should say, or just a tanned one, or just a brown complexion. Well, especially these high society matrons.
Oh yeah.
Well, even if they've got already wrinkles on their face.
I love gustong gusto ko ang pananalita niya. Even these high society matrons. Like sobrang galing niya magsalita. Like sobrang lupit.
Still want to bleach their skin. Suppose you meet one right now and you say,
Yeah,
"Good
bleaching,
morning," and
skin
you see
bleaching.
that she's just tanned and brown. But after 3 months, you meet the same person, and with the usual society walk, and trying to be very dignified and cultured and everything, and you just notice that her face was is lighter than before. And when you look at
Gusto
her
niyo bang
hands and
pag-usapan
everything, up to
natin
her
yan, mga
arms,
kakampi?
well, you'll be likable to say
In the
to explain
future.
Holy Moses, because there's a real
Holy Moses.
very great difference. You see, she's about very light here, but you look at the arms and everything, and the lower part of the body. But gee, it's just a very great difference. It's colored here, but it's very
Do
light.
they really
on the
bleach
face.
their skins?
They do, Mrs. Waller. They
What about
pay.
Japan? Does that Japanese women don't want to change it
Well,
anyway, do they?
Some Japanese women, right, how does that?
Dye?
Dye their hair red.
Really?
Yes. They like a red hair, but I don't like it.
What about Indonesia?
Well, as the Western people try to get the darker skin, we try to get light.
Wait, they had hair dye back in the 50s? Biro lang mga kakampi. That's actually foreshadowing para sa pag-uusapan natin mamaya.
Lighter skin, but we prevent the sun. I mean,
But you're such a nice color now. I don't mind. I think it's
when
so
we go
cute.
out, then we use some long sleeve blouse to prevent from the sun, so we don't get a very dark color.
Oh no.
Ngayon? Mamili ka na.
Bakit kumakain ka sa McDo?
Tell
Ay,
me,
not McDo all the
what are
time.
your
actually.
governments, if anything, doing about problems of prejudice? You've each mentioned some prejudice that exists in your country. What are your governments doing to try to eradicate it? You mentioned the prejudice against hybrids. You mentioned the
Damn,
prejudice against
saglit
hybrids
lang.
too.
That is messed up. Superior wanted you to have lighter skin? That's messed up, Kakampi. Sige, gagawin natin na topic yan. Kaya maraming whitening products. Actually, marami akong nakita na parang halos parang hindi maiwasan yung mga whitening products. I think it's so common that like napansin ko sa halos lahat ng mga produkto dito sa Pilipinas, halos lahat my whitening agent. It's as if marketers are thinking, well, we can't sell a product without it also having a whitening skin agent. It's messed up. By the way, quick shout out kay Renz Mendoza. Mamaya tayo mag shout out, okay? Ituloy natin yung video. So, okay, we're gonna do this topic of colorism sa susunod and skin whitening. We'll discuss that. Skin color topic. I'll take a picture of bags of whitening cream, serum, exfoliation stuff I was given by my superior. What the? That is messed up, Kakampi. Is this in the Philippines? Nasa Pilipinas ba ito? Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that.
You haven't told us much about the position of women. Otherwise, by the way, let me ask you right here: are women any freer in Japan now than they were before the war?
Well, before the war, there was no democracy, and women.
In California? Ano ba siya? Is Filipino din siya? Or ano bang... I mean, hindi naman mahalaga kung anong lahi niya, I guess. But that's... I mean, I'd be very, very, very shocked and very, very upset kung puti ang taong yun. Because that's like really, really bad. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. That's... Cringe and ew.
women belonged to men and men controlled women and everything.
Misogyny.
How about
Men
now?
had first opportunity to everything.
How about
Even,
now?
getting out of the
I like
door,
Raul.
women had to
Raul's
open.
trying to make moves. He's like, he's listening to it. He's like, how about now? How do you feel around me? I wouldn't do that to you, Yuriko.
the door
I think
first,
he had a
and the
crush on
men
her.
passed first.
I think he had a crush on her.
And in the buses or theaters, men take seat first. And if there's no seat, women have to stand them.
Oh, I'd love to live in Japan.
Oh,
But they do that in America and
But
England
that-
now. Is it changing at all?
Wait, didn't Raul say earlier? Raul earlier sinabi niya na may prejudice siya about Japan. Pero tingnan niyo mga kakampi, he changed. He's changed.
Just now, women can vote, and women have equal opportunity in everything.
Judith, you were talking about your prejudice against Cockney accent a moment ago. Is that still very strong in England, this prejudice of the so-called aristocracy against the Cockney?
No, I don't think it's a very serious problem now, especially since the war. You know, this idea that the English speak either with a Cockney accent or else with a very...
I always find it interesting though kung paano yung mga tao na hindi naman nagiging victim of racism or prejudice or whatever that prejudice is. They ask them, hey, is it a problem now? Halimbawa siya, tinanong siya kung problema na ba yung Cockney, yung prejudice laban sa mga may Cockney accent. Wala siyang Cockney accent, pero siya ang tinitanong. May prejudice pa ba? Laban sa mga may Cockney accent. It's like, I understand it's okay like to get that perspective, but still at the same time, siguro para sa kanya, ganyan nga na hindi niya napapansin na may mga prejudice pa rin ang nangyayari. Pero maaring may mga prejudice pa rin. Hindi lang niya nakikita kasi hindi siya yung dumadanas. And that's an issue of racism that happens in the US actually, is may mga tao na halimbawa mga puti. Sasabihin nila na things aren't that bad pagdating sa racism. Pero hindi sila yung mga people of color para masabi nila kung tunay na walang problema. Like I had a friend actually, I have a friend who is black, and we were doing actually nakasama kami para sa isang video, para sa isang concert na gagawin ko. And in that concert, we were playing Ang Huling El Bimbo, we were doing OPM, and while he was rehearsing sa bahay ko, biglang may kumatok sa pinto namin at ito ay isang police officer. And that police officer said he received a call from somebody because apparently my friend, Corey, he was sitting in his car at the end of this street at yung tao na sumilip sa kanya and then tumawag sa mga police, sabi niya, oh yeah, may nakita kong tao sa kotse. Itim siya. Parang ganun. He saw a black man and that person freaked out and called the cops. And this is actually a huge, huge problem that's been happening in the US. And and lo and behold, here are the police. Dito na siya sa bahay ko. Tinanong niya ako, hey, is that car like it? I can't remember. Like, is the person who owns that car in the driveway, is he here in the house? Sabi ko, yeah. Why? What's the problem? And then sinabi niya, could I speak with them, please? And I was like, yes. Tapos, sumama lang ako sa kanya, nasa tabi ko lang siya para walang magulo, parang sana mabawasan yung kaguluhan kung mayroon man. And he had to walk outside with the police officer, and explain what happened, and nandyan lang ako, nakikinig and being there. But it was just so sad kasi kung puti yung tao na nakaupo sa kotse, sabi niya kasi noon, nagagalit siya kasi nasa phone siya, tapos nag-aaway sila ng kaibigan niya. Medyo nag-aaway sila. So, galit na galit siya. Pero nung nakita ng taong yon, yung isang kapitbahay ko or whatever, nasa kabarangay ko, kumbaga, tinawagan niya yung mga police, parang isinumbong siya sa police dahil lang itim siya at galit siya. Kung ako ang nakaupo sa kotse at galit ako, wala talaga siyang sanang ginawa. Like, that just shows that there is an issue and it's something that needs to be addressed. And it's not it's like micro aggressions and micro racism that you don't even notice happens. FYI, dito sa US, ang racist attacks against Asian ay hindi bago. Nag-start yan years ago. That's true, Kakampi, especially in the 80s when Vietnamese boat people arrived. You mean, fresh off the boat from the Vietnam. Karamihan ng mga attacks ay minorities din, not white. Yes, exactly. Oh wait, minorities din sumalakay. Yeah, there is an issue din with Asian hate that does happen, not just from white people. That's true. But it is still a big problem, and I feel like dahil puti ako, I should address that specifically, Anyway, let's go ahead and continue this. Let's see here. Bam. Okay. Ipagpatuloy natin. We have just a couple minutes left in the video.
Aristocratic accent. That isn't true anymore. And we certainly don't despise people anymore if they speak with that. If you go into the House of Parliament now, you will often hear a North Country accent or a Welsh accent or even a Cockney accent.
Wait.
We're proud of those kind of people because they are the people who got us through the last war.
Okay, but this is one more thing. So sinasabi niya dahil sinabihan siya ng isang tao na may Cockney accent that things weren't bad anymore. Ibig niyang sabihin para sa kanya, things are no longer bad for that specific person na may Cockney accent. Pero yung tao na may Cockney accent, hindi naman siya pwedeng magsalita para sa lahat ng mga ibang tao na may Cockney accent. Siguro hanggang ngayon, may mga issues sa mga tao na nababuli dahil may Cockney accent sila. Just as an example, or when a Black American will say sometimes, oh, may mga puti ako na kilala na ganito ang sinasabi nila. Oh, well, may mga Black friends ako at sinasabi nila hindi sila nakakadanas ng racism. And then they pretend that solves it. That's the ultimate authority. But it's not. At hindi sana ganyan yung pag-iisip because it's not justifiable by that. Like, everybody has their own story. If they're not experiencing it, great. But at the same time, don't use 10% of the population as a barometer to say, oh, this is how all people are.
Nobody would dare say anything against them.
And they're not experiencing it. Yeah, it's like gaslighting. Tama, Kakampi. It's like gaslighting.
In fact, you may think that my accent is a little cultured, but
to say that, oh, you're not experiencing it because you're
still an accent.
At least you mean to say your schoolmistress would not totally approve of you?
Oh no, I should be corrected.
I hate to think what's going to happen when you go back after 3 months here.
So do I.
You'll write me about that, won't you?
Yes,
I wanted to have time to ask you what you thought individuals could do in terms of eradicating prejudice. But our time's almost up. Anybody got a quick answer?
Well, I guess we should carefully examine the individual first before passing any judgment on him.
Yes.
If we ever pass a judgment, we should...
My man, Raul.
That's a good note to end on. Thank you, Dottie.
If we ever pass a judgment,
Judith,
we should be...
and Raul. Next
It
week,
should be
we're going to
based on
continue
their
on this
individual
subject.
traits at hindi naman sa kung sino sila. Oh, actually, wait, let's take a look. silipin natin yung comment section saglit. Oh yeah, that does happen in that, doesn't it? I'm sure they deal with topics like that in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Okay, mga kakampi, tingnan natin. Let's look at these comments. We can barely hear Filipino teens. Okay, yes, this is actually the exact thing that I want to talk about today. We'll be talking about it. We can barely hear Filipino teens today expressing their thoughts and opinions with confidence. That smart shaming could be the blame. They think if you're smart vocally, they tagged you as a nerd or pabida. So smarts tend to hide their intelligence instead. To me, the Filipino guy looks like 12 or 13, but his voice sounds as if he's 25. So refreshing to hear honest conversations without the emotional hysteria of modern conversations in the media today. These kids are way more grounded and reasonable than the adults today. Many adults. Let's not overgeneralize. The rest of the participants, teen voice, the Filipino guy, I think I'll hit puberty twice. That's pretty funny. I'm amazed by teenagers of those times. Very smart, polite, educated. I mean, may mga tao na hanggang ngayon ganyan din. This is the sad part, nakikita lang natin yung mga nasa labas, nasa media, We're not saying, oh, oops, I'm sorry, mga kakampi, I wasn't showing this. Yeah, we're just not seeing all the good things. Let's see here, right here. All right, so itong pag-uusapan natin, smart shaming. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea. May mga tao kung minsan that oh wait, actually before that, I actually want to address that. I experienced racism dito sa Switzerland, sabi sa akin out. Oh wow, it's messed up. One of the reasons I'm a little hesitant to live in the US because of this. I don't know if I'm strong to handle it in case of being an Asian and bullied. Yeah, hindi ko alam kung anong masasabi ko. I could say, like, I do have a lot of friends. Most of my friends who are Asian, nasa DMV area sila, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. Ayon sa kanila, sa mga parts niyon, hindi ganyan kagrabe. Halos lahat sa kanila, ganyan ang sinasabi nila. Ang humble ni Lolo Raul. Talagang maingat siya sa mga salita niya dahil ayaw niyang makasakit ng ibang lahi. Yeah, definitely. He is very honest. Oh yeah, so Raul now actually is patay na siya. My kidney failure siya. Before we go on to that other topic, let's go ahead and cover that. Where is that? Is it here? Saglit lang. Okay. Okay, yeah. So, nasa comment section, ang isa sa kanila, sabi niya na pumanaw siya. Stop screen share. Let's do it. Screen share. Raul. What we can learn from it. Share. Yeah, so here it is, mga kakampi. So one cool thing was that yung anak niya, nakita niya, sabi niya, he was extremely brilliant. So nag-comment si Kate Contreras. He was a brilliant man. And yes, he was, let's see here, was shocked this video even existed, she said. Dad joined the big advertising firms and eventually set up his own. In his latter years, he was handling crisis PR. He also handled campaign of former President Cory Aquino. Sadly, Raul Contreras passed away due to kidney failure. Your father just became one of the reasons why I'm proud to be a Filipino, one comment said. Yeah, it's great. And which leads us actually to our point. So yeah, R.I.P. Raul. It's crazy that we are remembering this person, and it's from something that was made so long ago. Okay, yeah. So here we go. So this is actually where we're at now. Jollibee patawag sa'yo kapag mahilig ka mag-speak up. Another form of smart shaming. Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead with that. Some pointed out that this is what's missing in today's Filipino youth. So a couple things to bring up from this. Smart shaming. So unang-una, gusto kong talakayin natin ang isang bagay. This is the Golden Era Fallacy. And this is something that I see so common. So here it is. Individuals of all political stripes fall prey to the Golden Age Fallacy. Hard green environmentalists and anarcho-primitivists focus on the evils of civilization and the glories of subsistence-level economies, while conservatives, almost by definition, seek the return of the values of the past, which they glorify. One moment. Okay, the Golden Age Fallacy. This is an easy fallacy to find oneself falling into. Looking at the evils or wrongs of the day and thinking to yourself, things are getting worse. Or, wow, noon, sana tulad noon ang lahat. Kasi noon, walang problema. Noon, mas maganda. Noon, mas iba yung mga tao. So that's the Golden Era Fallacy na sinasabi natin. So my question is, are the young Pinoy generations nowadays as eloquent as Raul, or even just mga youth sa buong mundo, are they as eloquent? At ang sasabihin ko doon is, I think that's a silly question. I think that falls in directly to the Golden Era Fallacy. Things were not greater back then. Things were not better. Diba sabi nga ni Donald Trump, make America great again. Pero kung tutuusin, better for who? That's a question of perspective. Kasi kung tinatalakay natin yung mga segregation and not equal rights, not having equal rights, was that better? Was that better? Was that a great America? You know, nung panahon na yun. So it's like, it's overlooking the flaws noon and focusing on the positives of that time. And it's greatly ignoring kung ano ba yung mga negatives ng panahon na yun. So, I think it's a really, really good thing to keep in mind is whenever we're like, oh, things aren't the way they used to be. Like, things were never the way they used to be. I mean, things are always the way they are now. Like, siguro may mga pagbabago ng konti, like pagdating sa certain things, for instance,
Technology.
huh?
Technology.
Yeah, technology is improving. Or different, or however you want to say it, you know? I mean, we have phones now. That's a difference. Pero pagdating sa pagdating sa mga iba pang bagay, like, can we really say na mas maganda ngayon
Or mas maganda noon?
at mas maganda noon? Let's see. Yung tito ko ngayon nagtatrabaho sa US, pero sabi niya na wala naman daw siyang na-experience na racism. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad to hear that, Kakampi. And, ganun pa rin, kung ganun ang karanasan niya, that's absolutely great. Pero, huwag niyang gamitin ang ganyan sentiment para sabihin na yung mga ibang tao ay hindi nakagadanas ng racism or prejudice. Because that's something that happens sometimes. Sometimes people will be like, oh, hindi ako nakagadanas ng blah, 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 kaya hindi totoo para sa mga iba. Well, dapat tanggapin natin kung ano ba yung mga personal experiences ng tao.
Kaya hindi rin dapat maging prejudiced against Americans in general. Kasi yun nga, merong mga tao na hindi naman nakaranas ng racism. So, sa lugar nila, so hindi naman racist yung mga tao siguro.
Yeah, could be. Actually, yung tawag sa channel ko, Puting Pinoy, ginawa ko yan dahil gumawa ko ng video bago ito. Hindi pa ako Puting Pinoy noon. And ginamit ko lang yung personal Facebook account ko. Napanood ko ang isang video kung saan naging racist ang isang babae sa isang grocery store. Naging racist siya laban sa isang Pilipina at ang kanyang asawa na Mexican-American. So pareho sila mga Americans. Tapos yung babae, nanukso siya, sabi niya, you're here to take our food, take our jobs. You're speaking the Philippine language, tapos ginaya niya parang like parang ginaya niya like pinagtawanan niya yung Tagalog. And it's just it got me really angry. Like sobrang nadiri ako sa kanya. Pero nung sumilip ako sa comment section, marami akong binasa din ng mga comments ng mga Pinoy na maraming nagsabi, ganyan ang lahat ng mga puti. Ganyan ang lahat ng mga Amerikano. Basta Amerikano, basta puti, ganyan nga. At nasaktan ako. Kasi paano ako? Tumira naman ako sa probinsya. May mga karanasan talaga ako sa Pilipinas. So, paano yung mga tao tulad ko? Kaya puti na may pusong Pinoy. Pero dahil hindi magandang pakinggan yung puti na may pusong Pinoy kasi sobrang haba, ginawa natin noon, yung mga kakampi noon, ginawa natin puting Pinoy. That video went viral, actually. But, I wanted to make a point that hindi porket ganitong lahi mo ay automatically ganito ka. Automatically, ikaw yan. Hindi ka pwedeng gumawa ng ibang bagay. Hindi ka pwedeng mahilig sa mga ibang bagay. You have to stick to your box. You have to stick to your stereotype. Yun ang parang idea ng Puting Pinoy is you don't have to stick to whatever your stereotype is. You can be a free thinker. You can be a critical thinker. Tingnan natin. Gusto ko rin malaman, Kakampi, kung may prejudice din ba between Americans and British people. Ayon sa pagkakaalam ko, sa karanasan ko, I don't think there is much. There's a little bit of like playful banter, parang konting pananukso, pero like in a fun way. And it goes both ways, but I don't think people are actually hateful or prejudiced towards one another to a degree that's like painful or harmful. Like kung halimbawa kung may nakita ko or nakilala kung British, yung dugo ko is mostly British actually. And pwede kami maging kaibigan, I know that Ireland and Britain has a huge issue between them. Let's see here. I hope we could have this kind of discussion nowadays involving younger people. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We're going to get off topic. So I wanted to discuss actually the smart shaming and the Golden Era Fallacy. Could Golden Era Fallacy be related with hasty generalization and dicto simple fictor? So hindi ko alam yung pangalawa, Kakampi. Could it be looked upon with argument by analogy? Let me see what that second one is, Kakampi. A hasty generalization is when you jump to conclusions. What is that one? Dicto simple. So maybe making simple, like just simplifying statements that don't acknowledge the. There we go. Let's see here. Dicto simpliciter is a fallacy in which a general rule or observation is treated as universally true, regardless of circumstances or individuals concerned. Oh yeah. That would be a good way to put it. Pwede din yan, parang ano din yan. Parang anong tawag nun? Like overgeneralization din, universally true. Interesting. Let's see here. So, I think mahalaga din sa loob ng pag-uusap natin tungkol sa mga bagay-bagay na ito is yung mga nuances. Kasi pag pinag-uusapan natin ang ganito, ganyan, halimbawa kung dilawan, kung sinabi ni Nico David and sang-ayon talaga ako sa kanya, kung may magsasabi ng pangdilawan or pang DDS, biglang may magagalit na kung ano ba yung kalaban na yun, sasabihin nila, DDS ka, dilawan ka. And then, tapos na. Wala pang pagkakataon na pag-usapan ng mga issues pa. Dahil may mga preconceived notions pareho kayo. Sa halip ng pag-uusap ng husto tungkol sa isang paksa, I feel like that's a big issue. Sana mas lalo pag-uusapan ng mga bagay sa halip ng pagkakaroon ng agad-agad na mga judgments. Yeah, I think smart shaming does exist here. Like, kung tulad ng sinasabi ko, I remember I actually once, speaking of Nico David, I brought up in a comment section once, sinabi ko, sabi ko, so, like, what do you guys not like? Oh, actually, it was Kaalaman. It was about Kaalaman, the channel Kaalaman. And then I said, ano ba ngayon nyo sa Kaalaman? Like, may mga napanood akong videos and like, nagustuhan ko naman. Pero isipin din ninyo, isa-isip din ninyo mga kakampi, sa lahat ng mga YouTubers, and I'm friends with quite a few of these, maging Batas Natin, Attorney Libayan, maging Nico David, maging Doc Adam, Paulol, actually, I don't know Paulol personally, but I'm friends with all of these different YouTubers, and hindi naman ako sumasang-ayon sa lahat ng mga sinasabi nila. But actually, Jericho Arceo, isa din siya, like, that he would say something on occasion na sobrang hindi ako sang-ayon sa mga sinasabi niya. But I don't treat him like he's stupid. I don't treat these people like they're stupid, like they're like terrible people or whatever. And kung minsan, I feel like yan ang nangyayari kung minsan is instead of having critical discussions like these, people will jump the gun. And when I say people, hindi ko sinasabi na lahat ng mga tao ganyan. The point is why don't people want to have nuanced discussions about things? And then we watch things like this where they're having nuanced discussions and people say, oh, sana, like people aren't that way nowadays. Well, maybe a bit, but there are still people, and it's an easy fix to be able to be like that. Just be like that. You know, makaroon tayo ng mga kung ano ang paksa natin, pag-usapan natin ng husto. Hindi naman kailangan ng mga pambabash, hindi kailangan ng kung nalaman mo na makaiba yung tao, or halimbawa kung dilawan, kung DDS, just as an example, hindi kailangan agad-agad i-invalidate kasi those are logical fallacies. You're invalidating somebody's argument without actually observing what that argument is dahil ayaw mo sa grupo, sa association, affiliation nila. When in reality, dapat pakinggan natin yung mga punto mismo, and we can address those specific points. We can discuss specific ideas. There's no harm in that. Pero yung agad-agad, mga ad hominem attacks, oh, because you're this, we can't believe you. Because you're that, we can't, like, what you're saying doesn't have validity. All right. So mga kakampi, let's go ahead and take a look at some of your comments. And I think my mga comments kanina that racism exists in America. It does indeed, kakampi. Let's see here. By the way, kakamping Tyrone, bakit naman tinatawag na Jollibee pag matalino ka? Like,
Bida.
oh, pabida. Ano bang sayang bida? Ano?
Bida ang saya.
Yeah, bida ang saya. Hey, Jollibee. That sounds so immature.
Jollibee ka.
Jollibee ako. Okay. Sounds good, 2-year-old. You know, like it feels so infant. Like it sounds like what an infant would say. Oh, hey, Mabuhay from Florida, Kakampi. All countries, racism exists. That's true. That's true too. Yeah, I love what this person says though. It's inspiring. You may also check this link. Asian vlogger sobrang nabastos ng ibang foreigner while doing live stream. Oh, that's unfortunate. Let's see here. I'm gonna go ahead and go through here. Let's take a look at. I saw some questions here earlier. Oh, Lumi. Nandito ba si Lumi? Sasagutin ko na yung tanong niya. Do you guys hear the ice cream truck outside? I love this microphone. It picks up everything. It's a condenser mic. It's a good quality one too. Like walang masyadong white noise. It's like better than my microphones for my cameras. Sige, tingnan natin. By the way, mga kakampi, ano ba ang gusto nyong susunod na talakayin natin? Okay, ito. Kailan po yung kay Alan Becker? So mga kakampi, isang video, I have this collection of videos na mga backlogs. We'll call it the vault. Marami akong mga videos sa vault na hindi ko pa na-edit because either I don't feel confident enough that it'll get as many views as it deserves because hindi ako nakakatanggap ng mga ng steady viewers in my videos, you know. But anyway, kung hindi nyo alam, si Alan Becker, isa siyang, here, let me remove this. Alan Becker, isa siyang YouTuber na napakasikat. Oh, mahigit 15 million ang subscribers niya. And he does a, what's it called? These drawings, these stick figure drawings, and then ipagsasama niya sa mga video games like Minecraft and Pokemon, and it's really fun. It's really fun videos that he does. Anyway, nagkataon lang na nakilala ko siya sa isang YouTube convention, and he's not Filipino. I met other huge YouTubers at this YouTube convention, and I was able to get them to give me a few minutes of their time at pinasalita ko sila ng Tagalog. So these huge non-Filipino YouTubers are speaking Tagalog, and I am like the only person in the universe who has this video, but I'm scared that if I don't do the editing just perfectly right, or if I don't have as many consistent viewers, that this video that's a once-in-a-lifetime type of video is not going to be viewed, not going to get the views that I feel like it deserves. So, aywan ko kung anong palagay nyo dyan, Kakampi. See? Yeah, si Kakamping Maynirong. Does that mean mine, like Minecraft? Is that a Minecraft reference? You know, I'm just terrified that these videos that I worked so hard on, or that I gathered, that are so rare, na baka may mga tao na hindi manonood. And it's like, you know, that YouTube convention, it was so expensive, for one, and then two, it was like yung pagkakataon na makikita mo ang ganyan kadaming malaking YouTubers sa iisang lugar, like Mr. Beast, pinasalita ko siya ng Tagalog, or Mark Rober, you know, Daniel Thrasher, like people with millions of subscribers. I think 4 of them have over 15 million subscribers that I got to speak Tagalog. And I just thought it was so cool. And I'm like, oh, this would be a great video. I think it would perform well too. But I don't know. It's weird. Like, I make videos that I think are pretty good. And then swerte ako kung nakaabot sa 2,000 views, you know? So it's a little discouraging sometimes, a little sad sometimes. Tingnan natin to. Kapag feeling ng ibang tao na nagmamagaling ka, pero hindi naman talaga, sasabihin ka pa nila, di ikaw na magaling. Oo, nangyayari yan. Yeah, that sucks. It's like, can't you just engage? Hindi ba pwedeng pag-usapan na lang natin ito sa halip ng mga attacks and yeah. Sir, pwede po ba kayong maglaro ng Granny? What is Granny? Oh, Nana. Wait, Granny. Sa cellphone lang yan, Sir Puting Pinoy. Granny. What is Granny? Is that a video game? Sige, Kakampi, why not? I'll check that out sometime. By the way, mga Kakampi, kung hindi nyo alam, may gaming channel ako, and also my pangpusa din ako ng mga channel. A channel dedicated to my cute things, where I'll just like video them. I just opened that up, so kung gusto nyo mag-subscribe sa mga channel na yun, tingnan nyo. And then, yeah, the gaming channel, Puting Pinoy Plays, gaming channel yan. Kung mahilig kayo sa mga video games, mga PS4 ang nilalaro ko palagi. So, ayos. Maraming salamat sa subscription. CoffeeZilla and Spencer Cornelia. No, Kakampi. No, I didn't get them. But Mark Rober, Alan Becker, Mr. Beast, Daniel Thrasher. Kung kilala nyo yung mga YouTube gurus like Sean Connell, D. Neiman, Nick Neiman, and then may mga iba pa. There's what is it called? Anong pangalan niya? This one guy is in my videos who makes a lot of videos. He's in the Mr. Beast videos a lot of times. Nolan is his name. Trend Crave yung isang channel niya. And then also there's anong tawag nito? There's also Trendcraft. No. Crafts. Anyway, Nerdy Crafter. Yeah, Nerdy Crafter. Kung mahilig kayo sa mga craft channels, yeah. Pinasalita ko rin siya ng Tagalog. Horror games, huh? Yeah, I can do that. Nilaro ko yung anong game na yun? Na scary?
Last of Us.
No.
Resident Evil.
Yeah, Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2, nilaro ko yan, and I freaked out. I freaked the math out. That scared me so bad. Like, I was uncomfortable. I didn't want to continue to play that game. But just because it was so stressful, I could feel my cortisol levels growing with Mr. Suave, Mr. X. Hi, Kakampi. My son subscribed to your gaming channel. Maraming salamat, Kakampi. I'm going to need to make a regular posting schedule there so that, it's more fun. I'm a new vlogger. I invite guests over, provide health tips, edit my videos. Pero may isa kong video showing my puppy's face. Yan pa yung nag-rake in ng 44,000 views in 48 hours. Is that a new video, Kakampi? I want to watch it. Let's see it. Nurse Candy. Let's find this. Nurse Candy. It's 2 days ago, Kakampi. How awesome is that? All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna watch this together really quick. Here we go. Oh wait, we need the sound. All right, let's check this out. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Oh, puppy face. Oh, sorry. I didn't add it. Hey, this isn't copyrighted music, right, Kakampi? That's adorable. That is so funny. Great job. I'm going to give that a like. 4K likes? Holy crap. Pinapanood natin ngayon, Kakampi. Enjoyed. Oh, how cute. Goberian puppy face. Adorable. Yeah, mga Kakampi, tingnan nyo si yung channel ni Nurse Candy. Let's see here. What I've noticed, we'll go ahead and hide that. What I've noticed about vlogging is that you have to develop immunity to negativity and doubt. No risk, no reward. But I give you all the props for living in the Philippines and learning the language. I love that, Kakampi. I really appreciate that observation and insight. Kasi totoo talaga yan. Kung minsan nagtataka ako, bakit hindi ko na lang i-edit? But there's that fear para sa mga videos ko na nasa vault. There's just a fear na kung gagawin ko, you know, it's what if it doesn't perform as well? It's just something to overcome. Pero ngayon, mas comfortable ako with the setup. Like, look at this. I have a freaking cool mic, like a USB mic. I have this webcam that you can't see because it's a webcam and I'm using it right now. I got this laptop, you know, it's like, I feel really lucky for it. And it's helping me. Do I have an editor? No, Kakampi. I edit all my stuff. I just don't have the money to hire an editor. Like, I did try before, but medyo specific ako pagdating sa edits ko. Like, it would, like, I like it to be in my style. I have a particular style. And I did have a trial with 2, but I think one got a little burnt out because we did like a Zoom call for like 15 hours editing it. Which, you know, I have pretty specific, I mean, not for all my videos, but I have a very specific aesthetic and like, I want it to be that. And then I feel like, nung panahon na yun, like I could only pay a certain amount because wala pa akong masyadong sahod dito sa YouTube. And I would hate to not pay somebody what they're worth, or to not pay them the amount that is worthy. But, you know, kung nakataon na may editor na gusto mag-edit para sa akin and is fine with like doing more of like a commission-based sort of thing for, you know, for a vlog, then with like a lower base payment for right now, just while the channel's still regaining its momentum and whatever, like, masaya kung may mga editors dyan that would like to give that a try. But that's just my upfront thing, is that realistically, this channel just hasn't been garnering the amount of views or the level of like membership that it needs in order to justify having an editor and to be able to pay him. By the way, mga Kakampi, malaking shout out kay Kakamping Joy Casamayor for being a channel member for I think 4 months now. Kung nakita nyo yung join button, pwede kayong maging isang paying member dito sa channel, which just helps me in making some money. And you know, you get benefits as well. There's different tier levels. So kung may kakayahan kayo at kung gusto nyong gawin, there's that option. Also, I do have a Patreon. But yeah, I really appreciate the support, Kakampi. Let's see here. Sir Puting Pinoy, mag-download kayo ng PixArt, tapos pwede po nyo ilagay yung video sa Pix para maganda yung edit. Okay. Pwede kong subukan yan. That sounds great. Well, mga Kakampi, maraming salamat sa oras na ibinigay ninyo dito. I think we'll go ahead and have another one of these tomorrow. You know, with live streams, it's so much easier. Sobrang mas madali pag live streams. I'll need to figure out a way to keep it like more succinct and stuff. We'll get in that rhythm. Pero tingnan natin. Maraming salamat sa lahat, lalong-lalo yung mga tao na nanonood sa pinakasimula hanggang dulo. Maraming salamat. Tandaan natin na hindi mas maganda noon. Gawin natin maganda ang ngayon. Pahalagahan natin ang bawat sandali at ang kwento ng bawat isa. Apir, mga Kakampi.